Okay. All right, so the summation where I is the index, n is the endpoint. So where I is the index of the summation, AI is the ith term of the sum and the upper and lower bounds are n and 1, respectively. Okay. So let's do some basic examples, and then we'll start doing some hard ones, or harder. So let's say our index is k, from k to 3 to 5. And this is a formula, k over k plus 2. So the first few questions in the homework is going to ask you, okay, well, plug in the numbers, expand it, and add them up.
Seeing if I can get this one right. I think I can. It looks really easy.
Yeah, it's not too bad, right? So we start here. And then you stop here. Of course, you would add them up and whatever, but meh, I believe you know how to add fractions.
No, no, are you sure? I
Uh,
have some doubts, man.
well, I'm not sure, but it's what I believe.
Well, I'll take it.
Use the sigma notation. So example 2. Oops. Look that all weird. To write the sum. So basically you go backwards. So here we expanded the formula, got the sums. Eventually we'll give you questions where you have to figure out what is the formula. So if I give you the pattern, it's basically just pattern recognition. So this is what this is. That's supposed to be a 3 right there. And it goes all the way until 11 plus 2. So change this into a formula, summation. So the answer, what do you think?
Okay, so why did you switch it? Why is the K value changing on the bottom?
Okay, so this is a new example, not related to the first
Oh,
one at
okay.
all.
Awesome.
But you're cool with the first one, right?
Yes.
So it's completely separate. I know they look similar, so I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but I should have stated that.
It's that +2. That's what got you.
Yeah. So seeing the pattern, create this part and choose the starting and ending points. That's what you got to do. We'll use K, I guess. What do you think is a starting point?
Starting point is, so do we know what the formula is?
Well, we have to make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that, you know what, that makes sense. It's 3 over k plus 2,
Yeah. So this is our general form, right?
and it starts at 1 and it stops at 11.
There you go. So that's basically what they're going to expect for you to do. Eventually, it'll get a little harder later in the, well, actually, maybe not too bad because that's more of a Cal 2 thing. Space. Go. But yeah, um, that's all you got to do.
Cool beans.
So let me give you the formulas you're going to need for summations. So you'll play with these formulas, try to simplify things, and yeah, find the sum. You cool on page 1.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Excuse me.
Don't yawn, you're gonna make me yawn. I'm tired enough. It's a fight.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I've been feeling super tired all day, but I
It's
don't know.
one of those days, like the rain is coming.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Just like weather's makes me lazy.
Yeah, I feel it like crazy. Like I know. I don't even have to like wake up. I just know it's like, oh, it's gonna be like cloudy outside. And it is.
So
Okay,
weird, right? It's
back
funny.
to bed. Well, I mean, it's a biological thing. Like we're not meant to be outside in the rain because that means like getting wet, hypothermia, or and then you're or compromised immune system, then you get sick, or being struck by lightning.
True.
So it's
But
just one of those
how,
things.
how do you think your body knows that it's cloudy outside?
I think it picks up on other things. I think just like over evolution. Those that didn't go outside in the rain and stayed inside and slept survive, live longer, have more children. So whatever caused them to do that, whether it's a mental or a physiological thing, evolved into both to keep up that now unnecessary
Hmm.
trait, given that we
Yeah,
have umbrellas and healthcare.
I totally believe that that's how it came about, but I'm wondering what the mechanism is. Like maybe we sense a pressure change, maybe
Probably pressure change, some temperature change
humidity.
as well, humidity.
Yeah, so
But
it's
it's like,
gonna be
how your bad knee can feel the rain coming.
what I'm thinking is something along those lines where you're not conscious of it, but your
Yeah,
body
I think
kind of senses something.
we have a pretty good barometric pressure. Yeah, because you can get a barometric pressure headache, but you can also
True.
just have regular. Yes. Okay.
Hmm, interesting.
That's really cool. You can stop yourself from feeling it by increasing your magnesium oxide intake.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So if you max out on some magnesium, you won't feel sleepy.
Yep, because it gets rid of the pressure trigger.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Bodies are so much fun. I
Hmm.
don't like microbiology though. Like, give me that macrobiology. I can tell you why an animal's doing what it's doing all day long. But you start
Macro or
talking about
micro?
macro with the A.
That's your jam.
I like microscopes aplenty, but I don't. It's like all that stuff is like cell voltage, and then you lose me.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
like at a certain point it gets too conceptual and like yes, you absolutely need that micro for understandings like pathogens and medicines and everything. But
Yeah.
like and they're very connected too, but they're so connected that you can study them separately and still not get anything wrong.
Oh, okay. I guess it's similar, but not the same as like uh I guess relativity and like quantum.
Yeah, it's like two levels of a house, like they're both the house, but one is the upper level and one is the lower level. And you
Mhm.
have stairs that connect it. Like there's the areas where the ceiling of one is the floor of another. But ultimately you can stay in one area of the house and get along just fine.
True.
There's a gonna be a different subset of reasoning for the same behavior. Like I say, oh, this animal reacts this way because there's a light trigger and it's, doesn't like light for these evolutionary reasons. And then
Mhm.
the same animal with the same trigger is going to be determined by a microbiologist going like, oh yeah, there's something in this that responds to the light. And that's why it creates these stimuli. And both things are said, and they're like the same thing, but completely different.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's never. I mean, I'm not well versed in bio, but that's so it's all new to me. Pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun. Just not it gets too small sometimes. I'm like, I need to be able to touch it.
No, I understand. I get it. Like a lot of like when you're doing quantum stuff, things just are no longer what's the word?
Tangible.
Well, for sure tangible, but like uh another word for obvious synonym.
It's enough obvious. Oh my god, I have it. What is it?
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I give it up. I'm Googling.
it'll come to me eventually.
Evident.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. That works too. Yeah. So
Or demonstratable.
like
There's a little
it's just so strange and abstract that it's hard to follow and understand.
yeah, like it's hard to conceptualize. It's
Like visualizing is just almost impossible. So you're like, okay, it's kind of all always abstract, even though it's real stuff. So it just gets that's the challenge, I think, for, for some people, I guess.
that's what gets me. It's because like when there's stuff like that, to me that means I'm working entirely on paper and not so much in my head. And I do a lot better when it's, head first and then paper for stuff I need to like, work out than just all on paper. Because then I don't know why I'm writing the stuff that I'm writing on paper.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's do an example three. Um, so the idea is to use all these formulas above, 1 through 4, to simplify this guy into one of these 4 forms, and then you can just plug in these numbers. So instead of doing like all the way, 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000, 1 to 10,000, use the formulas and just plug them in because then n would be right here, right? See what I mean?
Yes.
So the index is I, so that means you can factor out anything that is not an I outside. Outside here is a property of uh, summations, integrals, derivatives. You cannot pull out stuff like you can pull out any variable that's not related to the index. You can pull out constants, whatever. Okay. So now that that's out of our way, we can separate this like this here. So put a bracket, I guess. One for I, 1 for the 1. So this is another property of summations, similar to pretty much the same as integrals. Separate the summations. And that word I'm thinking of is bugging me. Still haven't figured it out. Anyway, so now that you have this form, use the formula. So formula number 1 says we have the sum from 1 to n of I. This is equal to n times n plus 1 over 2, right? Let's really look up here. Replace it with this. Then, if you have a constant summation, then it's just going to be that constant added up n times, so it'll just be n times c or cn. So apply it's 1 and 4, and you'll have them in the formula set up. So this one will become n times n plus 1 over 2 plus Cn, which is RC is 1, so just 1n. That makes sense?
Yes.
Using 1 and 4 above. At this point, I mean, you could just plug in these numbers and be done. You can combine them into one fraction, I guess, using our fraction powers. No matter. This would be n squared plus n plus 2n. If I multiply this guy by 2 over 2, right? I can
Yes.
then put it all over 2. Oops, I don't know why that wrote that so ugly. Anyway.
Like you're an architect.
Yeah.
Are any of your other students mean to you or just me?
No, you're good. You're good. I enjoy our conversations. Now, we can keep going, but can you plug in 100, 1,000, and 10,000?
Yes.
That would be the final step. Yeah, here, I'll just go ahead and put that in the next page. N squared plus 3n over 2n squared. Oh, just noticed that reduces, doesn't it?
Isn't it just
You factor an n out from the top.
yeah. I forgot you can't factor all of it out. Never mind.
So use this guy to solve 100,000, 10,000. So we'll do that on the next page. Hey, fool, turn the page.
Yes.
Okay. N plus 3 to n. So use n plus 3 over 2n for n equal to 100, 1,000, and 1,000. So n equal 100 would simply be 100 plus 3 over 200, right?
Yes.
N equal 1,000 would be 1,000 plus 3 over 2,000. And then finally, same crap. whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's all. So in the homework, let me go ahead and open that up for you. I think all the homework closes Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still open. Okay. So yeah, I think I reopened everything until Thursday. Oh. Let's just finalize this section real quick. So this is the homework. We did first three or four. Yeah, first three or four were the first two examples. Here you just use the formula and then plug in 24 because n is 24, right? So you would factor the 4 out, use the formula on the I, which is formula number 1, change it, put the 4 back in, of course, and then plug in 24 for your n and you'll have the answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So here you would expand everything, separate them like I did just now, and then apply the formula to each sum. And once you've applied it, to find the sum that they want, you would plug in 9 into the n that is used in the formula. Does that make sense? Do you see this one or?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all you're doing. I did number 8. Number 9 is almost the same thing, but as soon as you apply the formula, you have one final step. You take a limit. So like, let's say this last example over here. Let's pretend.
I love pretend.
Let's pretend there was a limit in front of this guy, right? So
Okay.
everything would be the same the whole way down. And then right when you get to the end, you would take a limit right here. As n goes to infinity, these would cancel and you'd have 1/2.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So yeah, so the limit question that's on this homework is not any different. It's just one extra step. Just ignore the limit the whole time until you get to the very end doing the stuff I just showed you and then take it. But pretty much that's all there is. You're just using formulas, doing a little algebra, and maybe take a limit once in a while.
Little algebra. You do these things like they're like a full course meal. You're like, oh, like here's a small and light aperitif and a palate cleanser. And then like no in between, like no soup, no salad. You just move like straight into the main course. Like, oh my
You
God.
gotta just eat it.
Thought we were still snacking on chips and salsa, man.
Gonna have my steak sandwich with steak instead of bread.
They probably serve that at the NRA.
What about the NRA?
I was like, they probably sell that at the NRA. It's probably what they eat for their
Oh, probably.
lunch and steak sandwich. Sounds good though.
Why don't they allow guns at the NRA? It's so weird.
Right? It's so weird. It's like maybe you don't want guns where there's a bunch of people.
That's strange.
Like maybe, it's like, wow, metal detectors. What?
Man. They have more security than our schools do. It's amazing.
Like get paid more.
Yeah,
Which is
dude.
worse.
Yeah, pay is garbage.
Yes.
Let's see here.
It's like one of the few good things about going into the psychology field is pays pretty decent.
Yeah, I think so. If you can
And it
stop.
can pay in school. Like you can get better.
Agreed. I have to. He said make homes better. Is that what you said?
I don't know, you can like get better jobs, better
Hmm.
position, start
Yeah.
your own practice. But I mean like starting pay is not that bad either.
Yeah, I think like any field, the real money is in business, right? So if you open your own thing, you'd be better off. But yeah, I agree. Starting is pretty good, pretty decent.
Unlike some other professions.
Yeah.
It's like that drives me insane. Like you go to college 4 to 8 years, and after all of that, and then like having a job, you're like paying a lot, starting to pay off those debts, or trying not to get any debt through scholarships, which require even higher grades and even more work. After all of that, and you get paid $12 an hour for your starting position. Like I couldn't do that.
For what job you said?
Oh, it's a bunch of them, like some of the doctors and stuff too. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, especially the doctors, because you have to do like some of those unpaid rotations.
Oh yeah, yeah, you know what you mean. But even with like people in the medical field, like CNAs and stuff, they do
Especially
all the
people
hard
in
work and get paid crap.
they get screwed over. I know, like they're the ones there, like they're the ones working those 18-hour shifts. The specialists really aren't. They
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah, they deserve to be taken care of and they're not.
I know, especially because they do a lot of the really important stuff, like stick things in people.
Yeah. Here, let me look. I need to look up my formula here. This is our last section.
What? Not too fast.
Crazy, right?
First it was going really slow, and then it started like going really fast. It's like no in between. I'd like an intermediate, They have like the beginners, like in skiing, you have the beginner slope and you have the expert slope, but in between you have that nice intermediate and sometimes intermediate and advanced. This is going from like beginner to expert. Like, great. Like, this is wonderful.
Let's jump in the deep end with me. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like the bunny slope to the triple diamond. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna die. We're sailing off the side of a cliff,
Okay.
crashing through a tree.
Sink or swim. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, it's like this like, when they do like the toddler training. It's like they throw the babies in the pool, but they
I've
still have
seen
their
those videos.
swimmers
I'm
back,
like,
so it's okay.
I would be so scared to do that. I'm like, I'm sure it's legit, but man.
Yeah, I mean they work up to it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they don't just
The-
immediately toss the baby in the pool.
Well, I was thinking like those newborn videos where they're like 6 months old or whatever. Do
Yeah,
they
that's
work those guys
what I'm
up?
talking about. Yeah, because they still have their swim reflex.
Okay.
So fresh out of the womb.
I guess I assumed that it was like day one. Like, what the fuck's going on?
No, that'd be insane. Can you imagine being like a 6 month like you're like you don't even have proper eyesight yet because your brain decided that'd be too much to handle. You're just figuring out what fingers are, getting a solid grasp on that, and then one day you're just thrown into a pool without any understanding of what a pool or throwing is.
I know, man. That's the whole concept is insane.
Existential crisis.
Yeah, it's like you're basically being thrown into a world that makes no sense. Oh man, yeah, that's exactly why I wouldn't do it. But I guess if you work them up to it, cool.
I mean, it's pretty good, especially if you're gonna be anywhere around like a water area, like you have a pool or you live near the beach or a lake.
Hmm.
Because they're not meant to stay swimming, but they're meant to, be swimming and make a little noise so you can get to them in time.
Oh, okay. So that's the point.
Yeah, it's just a drowning prevention.
Hmm.
It's not like for the joys of toddler swimming. It is just to keep their swim reflex because it goes away if you don't um keep doing
Gotcha.
it.
Oh yeah,
Which
I didn't really think about the purpose. I was just like, why they? I was just focused on how insane it looked.
does look insane though. Especially
Yeah,
at the end when it's like the graduation, they just toss those babies in there. It's like I don't think those babies are jumping in. I think they're like stumbling slightly into the pool. I don't think they're doing a cannonball.
yeah. Like, they can
I don't
barely
know why.
They can't even walk, bro. How are you gonna do that?
No, it's like I don't know why you needed to toss them like 4 feet above the water surface.
Right? I'm gonna fucking give them whiplash or something.
Take them to a baby masseuse. And the people who use the Theraguns on the babies are insane.
What's that?
The Theraguns, where it's like the little massage gun. There's like a whole community of people that use those on babies, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's like to release these muscles." I'm like, that baby doesn't have those muscles yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
What the hell? Why are they doing that?
Because they believe like they believe those people that look so confident, and they wear like the loose pants and a nice shirt that's like slightly colorful but still also somehow beige. And they're like, oh, I can sense it in your baby. There's tension. The birth trauma has really affected their child. And then they go, oh no, not the birth trauma. So they take their baby to this person, just allow this person to like pop things in that shouldn't necessarily be popped in.
Yeah, like, I don't think I want some dude or any person yeah, doing that kind of shit. It sounds like a horrible idea.
It's not a good idea. And it's so funny though, because they'll bring up like muscles that the babies really don't have yet. And you're like, oh, like this is to do the legs. I'm like, that baby has not yet formed kneecaps. You're insane.
Right? Like, dude, it's and what kind of stress does this child have? I'm pretty sure it's zero.
Right now, it's like cushy baby life. I don't know. Probably on like a family vlog.
Oh yeah. That whole thing
I
is
would,
upsetting.
I would crawl into the pool if I was a part of a family vlog.
Oh man. Ugh. Oh, did you see the Tucker Carlson getting fired?
The what?
Carlson getting fired?
Yes, oh, that was beautiful. That was so funny. Replaced by the black guy too.
Was he? I didn't see that part.
Yeah, I just found out, I think yesterday. That was hilarious because now they're going, it's like Fox News is forcing diversity. And that's such a beautiful phrase to hear.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure
funny.
their viewers are just so angry about it.
They're so angry. Like, we need to follow Tucker. They got rid of him because he was preaching the truth. You idiot.
No, he was getting so racist and
It was, I don't even,
weirdly
he was
religious.
fired because of the lawsuit too. Like, it was just too expensive to keep him on.
Yeah, I'm sure it was mainly the lawsuit, but I think what's his name? That talking corpse of Murdoch.
He's like, that's all of them. What are you talking about?
True. But yeah, Murdoch was uncomfortable and creeped out by all his weird like I guess his weird talks on religion and tying it to race and just being yeah, just strange stuff. It made him uncomfortable.
It's so much fun when they do that. I mean, I think it's even funnier that Fox News is legally an entertainment organization. They are not legally news.
Yeah, like I
You
feel
could
like they
tell
should
people that
remove
used to
that.
be Republican. You really could, and they wouldn't believe it, but it's like there's public documents. They've said it themselves in court in that lawsuit, in that very lawsuit. They said, they confirmed it was not a news organization, it was entertainment. So stupid.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm gonna remember that next time I argue with a crazy person.
It's so funny. Like they don't need to be factual at all because they're not legally news. And they even said it in court. This is the best part. They said in court, this is entertainment and cannot be mistaken for news. Because that was one part of the lawsuit too. Is like, oh, but you're like parading yourself as news because the claims are so outlandish, no reasonable person would believe them. They said that Fox News said
Oh
that
yeah.
about their own. I'm like, I need that on a billboard. I need that on I need that on a dozen billboards, please.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was a billionaire. Just troll people.
Billboards, man. Billboards is where it's at.
I saw I thought it was like the best. Well, I don't know if that's the best, if that's the correct word, but most interesting way to use your billionaire money. That was that guy from Alibaba, the billionaire Chinese guy.
Yeah.
one who made the Chinese version of Amazon or whatever. Well, he basically made his own movie where he's like a supreme martial artist and just paid like the best martial artists out there in China and Korea or whatever to fight him and lose and basically look like he beat all of them or fought some of them to a standstill. So he's just basically made a movie making himself look cool in Bollywood style. It's pretty hilarious. I'm like, wow, well, that's a fun way to use your money.
I'd take that money if I was one of those martial artists. Are you kidding me? It's like the easiest $5 million of my life.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't fault them for doing it, but I just think it's hilarious. Like, that's a great use of your money. Just make stupid stuff.
I mean, it's like the things about like Kim Jong-un. It's like
Yeah.
he's never pooped in his life. He's a top basketball player.
Oh yeah.
So I used to have a list because it was hilarious. It was a beautiful list
A list of what?
of all the stuff like that Kim Jong-un is like believed to have done with all the propaganda for it.
Oh yeah. You,
Mm.
you gotta find that sometime. All right, let's finish 5-4. So still integrals, but the idea here, the fundamental theorem of calculus, basically states you integrate the log little f, given you your capital F, which is the antiderivative of lowercase f. If you're doing it over a from a to b, this is like the interval of integration. You find the antiderivative and you plug in the b in the top upper bound, subtract the function that you found at the inner bound, at the lower bound. So just do a minus and that's it. So example 1, do the antiderivative and then deal with the 0 to 4. And that's it. So do it term by term. Property of integrals lets you do it separately. So what is the first integral of 9x squared?
Are we doing the reverse, the antiderivative?
Yeah,
Then it
basically.
would 3x to the third power.
Yeah, yeah. So this would just become 3x cubed because this would be a 3 dividing into the 9. Correct. Okay. This guy, what's this one going to be?
That one is going to be 3x squared. No, yeah, 3x squared.
Yep. Oops. Let's skip that step. Just go straight to 3x squared right here. The amount of space.
Gotta conserve your space, man.
Gotcha. On my reusable pages here. All right, last one. Integral of dx.
X or
Yep.
constant? X, okay.
Yeah, so this is like a 1, so it'd be 1x. If it was a 5, it'd be 5x.
And then we still do plus C or K for a constant, right?
Not anymore because these are called definite integrals.
Oh, okay.
So since we have a bound, upper and lower, we evaluate on the upper minus the lower. So what you're gonna do is plug in. So this is like the capital F right here, these 3 terms. Plug in the 4 into each one minus 0 into each one. So that's two separate functions, I guess. Well, the same
I
function
remember
at 2
this.
points. That's all. You remember?
Yep.
So there's the first one, capital F at B, minus capital F at A. But since there's 0, it doesn't matter. Just deal with this. So that will be calculator time.
Cheater.
All right. But yeah, that's it. That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do another one, just in case.
Didn't believe me, huh?
Who knows? Can't take any chances.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. Oh, don't forget to do the if you haven't already, the teacher evaluation.
I have finished mine. Don't worry, all good things.
Oh, you already did it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I checked 4 days, a few days ago. It said because you're the only one enrolled in the section 20, is like only 0% of the students have done it. I'm like, oh crap. I gotta make sure she does it now.
I did it yesterday. I was like,
Okay,
I
cool.
do.
They'll give me they'll get upset if I have a 0%, but I'm like, come on. It's technically
Well, now
part
it's
of
100.
the other class, so it's not. I don't know. They'll find a way to complain, and even though it's a weird situation.
I'm like, what happened to the other students? They weren't strong enough.
Yeah, Joe ate them all.
Yeah, man, hungry.
Absorbed. Okay.
Mm.
This example, just don't have to separate them. Just do one of, do this guy and that guy. So that'll be this, right? We're able to do this because we know that we have that ability to separate the integral, right?
Yes.
So here, plug in your 3 and evaluate minus that same capital F function evaluated at 0, which is again 0. So this will be
10.5.
Yep, exactly 21/2.
Oh, sure, do it with your fancy fraction. I hated doing fractions when I was in high school. It was like, give me a decimal. That's a real number.
And technically, they're both real.
Fractions are like the Cool Whip of math.
The what?
Like, they're like the Cool Whip of math.
The
Like, sure,
coolest?
they taste good. Cool Whip.
Oh, cool. What?
It's like, sure, they taste good, but you don't want to have something that's just that because there's like no substance. It's like get whipped cream, like an American.
Oh man. Well, which was the cream cheese?
I love cream cheese. That's one of my many vices. Like, I put cream cheese in everything. Put it in soup. I put it in sauces. I put it in desserts.
Cream cheese?
Mm-hmm. Use as a
Nice.
condiment. Bagels.
It is pretty good.
It's so good. Or you can
But
add a little bit of tang, that cheese flavor. Like when you don't want to deal with ricotta, because ricotta sucks trying to get and then keep good in your fridge because it only lasts for 3 freaking days. It's like, who needs it? Who needs ricotta? You got cream cheese,
ricotta only lasts 3 days.
in my experience.
I don't haven't I don't haven't used it enough to notice.
Stuff. I mean, it's like fresh cheeses. Like mozzarella lasts a little longer, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, and they're also so expensive. That's probably why I don't eat it very often.
I treated myself the other day. I bought some fresh mozzarella to make a caprese salad. It was good.
Sounds real nice. I used to love going to Central Market and just doing the cheese tasting.
HEB isn't good enough. No, I'm joking.
No, yeah, it is HEB.
I know, but it was like the regular HEB because
It's
there's
the
not many for the small
fancy
one.
HEB with fancy cheese.
Yeah, fancy HEB. I have so much. I can't go there. I let myself go there like 3 times a year max.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd buy too much stuff. I love cooking gourmet food.
No, yeah, it has so many cool things.
It's
But yeah, I agree with that statement.
like 3 times a year, I let myself go and get, what catches my eye in a small basket, and it still costs like $100. Jesus Christ, man.
I know. Especially nowadays, everything's so stupid.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thankful I grow a lot of my own food.
Yeah, I like going there for like parties or like if I'm gonna get a prime or wagyu steak or something like that. That's where I would go. Or lamb chops or I don't know.
Oh, boy,
Something
I feel like I
special.
haven't eaten in a while.
But they
I need to
randomly
go.
really randomly have really good sales. So like, as soon as I see it, oh, so is half off. I'll go buy a cowboy steak or whatever it's called. But anyway, example 3. So on these, you have to graph them and and then find the area underneath it.
Is
So
that an X or it's a Y, isn't it? Okay.
this one's a Y.
Cool.
Okay. If you want to use your graphing calculator to help you out, feel free.
I hate this graphing calculator. I was like, oh, I went and got one from the school and I was like, give me the best graphing calculator they have. And they gave me the TI 84, old one,
Oh, nice.
which is it's so old. In high school, we had like the newer TI 84s, which had, like a digital screen, and this has like a calculator screen.
Oh yeah. Man,
And
you
it had like
mentioned, how nice your school was.
it wasn't really a nice school. They just like put in the money to get the calculus class, like 12 TI 84 calculators,
Oh, okay. Well,
which St. Philip's
surprising.
has not done.
Hmm. Well, I wish we had those.
I know it's I mean, like you can graph on this and everything, but like I'm used to like that Desmos style graphing,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's what the newer
sweet.
ones have. Yeah, like that sweet graphing. That's like, oh, here's the highest point, you
Yeah,
know.
it's just so
It's all
intuitive. Oh, that's the word I was looking for.
into it. Yeah, yeah, that's the
Intuitive.
word.
Quantum is not intuitive.
No,
That's what I was trying to say.
microbiology isn't either, because like macrobiology, you're also an animal. You can figure out, you can
Yeah.
get a good idea why the animal's doing a thing because you're an animal. But you don't know why cells are doing the things they do just on your own.
True.
Viruses. I don't even want to talk about viruses. Are they alive? Are they not alive? Who knows? I don't care.
Yeah, they're like, would biorobots be fair?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Okay, so here's the idea. X equals 0 is a vertical line, which is the y-axis. X equals 3 is right there, another vertical line. Y equals 0 is here a horizontal line, which is the x-axis. So y equal to any number is a horizontal line at that number. X equal to a number is a vertical line at those numbers, hence the 0, the 3, and horizontal 0. So that's all old school graphing stuff. Just a refresher. Graph the parabola. If you zoom in, the parabola is going to be over here somewhere. And I don't really care that what it looks like. I just want you just need to know it's gonna be closed off by this axis here, this x equal to 3. So find the area underneath this parabola, somewhere around here. So the integral will be this guy from 0 to 3. So you need to be able to see what am I integrating and from where to where. If I'm doing dx, meaning I'm integrating with respect to x, that means I have a vertical slice. So the top function minus the bottom function is how you do these. So you would say the top part, which is the parabola, minus the bottom, which is the 0, y equal to 0. That makes sense?
Yes.
So
But
whenever
top
you're
slice
doing
seems like something that Tony Hawk would pull.
exactly, it does a 900-degree spin.
Wicked top slice, man.
All right, so we decide 0 to 3 because we see the boundary region 0 to 3. If it was dy, we would be binding it from 0 to whatever the hell this point is. So you'd have to find it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if we're doing dx, then we go from here to here, but the functions must all be in terms of x. If I do dy, then I need to solve for y, if it's possible. It's not always possible to solve for it implicitly. Or is it explicitly? Explicitly. Anyway, so, but anyway, best choice here is x because everything's in x, perfectly bounded. So that's why I set it up this way. So the setup is the main part. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because after this step is just integrate like we did the last two examples. Okay, so let's do it. That'll be 2x cubed over 3, right? There's the integration. Plug in 3. Minus, we know it's going to be 0, right? So who cares? Add all that garbage up.
You're so mean to these poor fractions. What do they do to you? Who hurts you? Was it was it that delta H? Forgive me. That's a hurt me. Fucking
Yep.
which decreases the entropy of the universe. Nothing decreases entropy. They had
Nothing.
that.
What decreases entropy, though, I said?
Yeah, it's like this reaction decrease entropy and like nothing decreases entropy. That's the entire point of it being entropy.
Yeah. It's true. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show you the graph. Show you a pretty graph because I know mine's garbage. I know this won't be in a museum anytime soon. Are you able to vote in the what's it called? Bear
Really
County
good?
stuff?
No,
It's a shame.
I know, I live outside city limits.
What's that?
I live outside the city. I can't even vote in either of the town's elections I technically live in because I'm outside city limits.
What can you vote in?
Um, State and national.
Do you have no city?
Technically, I have no city. I mean, one, I don't think you can vote if you're outside city limits, so you could still be in like the city area, but you're not in the city limits. I think. But my reason's so much more fun because of course I can have normal problems, but not normal reasons for those problems. So the reason I can't vote in either of the town elections because I live on the border of Floresville and Stockdale is Stockdale says I live in Floresville, and Floresville says I live in Stockdale because this land was originally all Floresville, but it got divided up, and the dividing line is on our property, the majority of which is technically in Stockdale. But Stockdale won't claim us because they said the original property was all Floresville, grandfathering us into Floresville, and Floresville won't claim us because we said we're in Stockdale.
Sounds like nonsense.
It is complete nonsense, but I'm also too tired to like struggle with that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll take the fight.
I guess so. All right, so here's the red function is the parabola, right? This guy here. X equals 0 is the blue line, vertical. X equals 3 is a green line, vertical, that we drew. Y equals 0 is a purple, so it's basically enclosing this section on every direction. You see that?
Yes.
So what we're doing, and the beauty of this, the reason for it, is we can find areas and volumes of strange shapes. We don't have to rely on geometry. Because geometry, real life shapes, spheres, cubes, rectangles, easy to find. But if you make a strange structure, strange shape, the volume and area will be determined, will have to be found with calculus. So all the programs that find that type of stuff are, designed with this in mind. Anyway, this is way prettier than mine. There it is. So you would choose integrate from here to here, 0 to 3. Top function is the parabola, so you would write this guy first, minus the bottom function, which is the purple, 0. That makes sense?
Yes.
It's always top minus bottom. I don't think it's going to come up much in this class or section, but in Cal 2, it becomes a bigger deal when you have like two functions on either end and you're trying to find an area somewhere out there in space or whatever. The integral you create is a little more complicated, but it's the same concept though, just top minus bottom. Who cares? Yeah, here, let me show you the homework. See what you think. So it starts off just integrating basic integrals and then evaluate from 0 to 1. Always do top minus bottom for the bounds as well. Integrate this guy. You probably have to multiply it out first, then do the top minus bottom. Here, integrate, bring that u squared to the top first, and then integrate top minus bottom, same deal. Here, what I would do is divide this u to the 1/2 into both of these, and then integrate separately. Once you do the division, like u over this, 9 over u, whatever, u over square root u, -9 over square root u, integrate those things separately, it'll be easy. But
Chips and salsa, man. Chips and salsa.
um, this guy mm, would just apply the square root to the top and bottom, and then pull out the root 5 in front, and just do it. It's just basically the same stuff you did in beginning of chapter 5, but you're adding bounds, right? So the integrals may take some algebra skills, um, or a couple, or maybe like a couple of setup steps before you integrate. Some you can just do right away, like number 1 and 2, 3 maybe, if you kind of one step. But after that, you got to do a little algebra and then integrate. After a few questions, or after most of them, you'll have an area question like we just did. So the top is the sign, bottom is 0, so you would integrate, right? You would set up the integral as sine. Stop freezing on me. Oops. Minus the bottom, which is 0. I should do calligraphy.
Absolutely. You know, those Japanese masters to shame.
Right? And check this out. So beginning of the graph, 0, all the way to here. So you just set it up and then just do an integral of sine. And I think I gave you all the formulas for the trig functions. So once you set it up, it's just pretty straightforward. Is there any of these you'd like to try out?
No, I feel pretty good.
Is there some appetizers you would like to have?
After the meal? Oh my God. Yeah, that's like every Chili's ever. It's like we're just finishing up, my pot roast or whatever, and like here comes my cheese sticks. I needed
Some
this
mozzarella sticks.
50 minutes ago, man.
It's like, why is that being ordered, man? Who cares?
Like a little before, perhaps. Or you could have just told me we don't have cheese sticks ready, and I would have taken that, but I was expecting cheese sticks and received them afterwards.
Yeah, that sucks. I would still eat them.
Yeah, right? You still eat them, but you're not happy about it because you're already full at that point.
Like, screw it.
And they don't keep well as leftovers. That's why you have the appetizer. Appetizers don't keep well as leftovers typically, but your meal does. So you're supposed to eat all your appetizers and eat what you can of your meal and take the rest home. But
That's
if
a
you
good point.
eat most of your meal to like the point where you're full and then you get your appetizer, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have some like rubber and breadsticks? Like, great.
Yeah.
This is
That reminds me, have you
really
seen
so good.
those new I think it's like a size of a toast. It's like basically a toaster oven slash air fryer made by Ninja. It looked pretty cool.
God, I
I
love
think
Ninja.
I think it would solve that stupid rubber stick problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have my little itty bitty toaster oven that I use for most of my reheating.
What do you use?
My little toaster oven. It's
Yeah,
part
so
of my toaster,
it's basically like the fanciest toaster oven I've ever seen. That's all it is.
right? $200 toaster oven,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think it's necessary, but if you have disposable income, I would totally buy it.
right? And they're like, all these chicken dinner. I'm like, it's so funny they coined the term air fryer. They're like, oh, it's like frying but healthy. It's like it's just a convection oven.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. It's not frying at all.
No, it's just a convection oven. Like the air current can pass around it,
Are you
so it
serious?
doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
there's
never.
no oil. It's not frying. For frying, it has to be in an oil, whether it's like butter or like olive oil or bacon fat.
Damn.
have to have an oil to fry. So the air fryers, because it's like, oh, they're frying with air. It's like that's not frying, it's just baking really well.
But you do add oil, but it's not being fried, correct?
I don't, do you? If I don't think you do.
Yeah, I
The
mean
last
the air
time
fryer I
I tried.
have, you do add some oil, I think. Um, I'm 90% sure. But it's been a while, so I'm not 100%.
What happened to your old air fryer that you can't remember?
I don't use it much. I don't use I haven't cooked much in a long time. That's what that means. Um,
You don't need to add any additional oil.
isn't
Ah,
it?
you can add oil to give like a golden color to some foods. So that's not, again, not frying. That's just baking with some oil on it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's why I don't disagree with you at all. I just
I
know
just think it's really funny they
I
call it
did
air
use
frying.
oil, so I assumed that it was some sort of frying process, but I never really looked into it. It's all right, cool, whatever. I don't care. But now that I'm looking into it, yeah, I'm quite surprised. It's just convention. It's actually kind of hilarious.
It is. It's like they tried to the whole thing like air fry, and it's like this new hot thing. I'm like, it's just a.
That's a
It's,
master. Honestly, that is masterful marketing. I'm
it is.
impressed.
It is probably one of the best marketing schemes we've seen in the 2020s.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
don't
good.
know if we're really gonna surpass it by much.
So I guess that fancy toaster oven is just regular, has two compartments. Has the traditional toaster oven, and then on top of it, the convection.
It's the same thing. A toaster oven is a convection oven.
It is?
That's the best part. Yeah, a toaster oven
I
is an
guess I
air
don't know the
fryer.
definition of convection then. What is convection? Let me see.
It lets the hot air like move around it, so you're not getting any soft spots. Let me Google it.
So it's just like a hot coil, basically, or was that's all it is?
Yeah, so the difference between a convection oven and a regular oven is the convection oven blows the hot air around so it cooks evenly and more quickly, but a regular oven has like one heating source and it doesn't have any air in there that moves things around. There's no
So,
exhaust system in an
so there's
oven, but there
so it's
is,
just a system that moves the air. That's all the only difference.
yeah, it's a fan assisted oven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I learned something new today. Cool.